Don't blink, it's your boy Hank. Welcome to the show. Hope you guys are doing well, because are having a wonderful day on the 17th June 2025. Today we got some good news. Today we have a couple of videos to do, but most of all, I'm going to be eating, so please forgive me for eating. Your boy is hungry. We have the neighbors, they're loud, so you might hear them, but hey, what am I supposed to do, right? So today we received a call. So as I mentioned before, long story short, Friday we received a call and say, "Hey, Mister Amazing Human Being, thank you. I heard that you're looking for work." And I was like, "Well, I give you a CV, so that's how you heard it. I would like for you to call me back." Now, I was sleeping. I woke up at like 5 o'clock p.m., which is not true. We woke up at 4:30 p.m. and I thought she was leaving at 5. So I was like, "Oh, I'm sleepy, but I have to call before she leaves." So I called. There's no news. Sadly, the vocal message I left in my book was a mixture in between a H.P. Lovecraft masterpiece, I must say, and a drunken drunken Londonian, a person from London, at 5 a.m. in the morning. One of those two. Funny thing is, I believe H.P. Lovecraft was also from London, so you know what I mean. But yeah, so I called, and Monday, which is yesterday, this place I used to work at. They're not open the weekend, so I know that she was gonna call on Monday. She didn't call on Monday. For me, it was a sign of, dude, your voicemail was so shitty, they didn't call you, right? So I'm like, okay, c'est la vie. Then she called me today, and she called me, and the funniest thing is, yesterday I fell asleep without predicting it, so I woke up today at 6 o'clock, which is very normal. Felt weird not to be weird. Not a sponsor, but Quench Pink Lemonade. Buy it in a store, in a Costco near you. So she called me, and I was like, "Hey, how are you?" And it's funny because I have a kind of went bullshit. I have a caller ID, so she called me, and it's for the company that I'm working at. Now, I'm not gonna be able to tell you the name of the company because most of you guys are amazing. Some of you guys are insane. Not in a good way too. So I'm not gonna tell you the company. My apologies, sorries. So they called me. They said, "I have an interview on Thursday at 11 o'clock. Now, this interview is kind of special because it's a group interview. So I think that they're going to be hiring a couple people. Otherwise, why? So they're going to... I have to meet them at 11. It's for an hour and a half, possibly to 12:30. Then I'm going to be met individually. So yeah. And that is pretty much it. So how do I feel about this new job? Well, you know... It's a good thing that you asked, because last week I was struggling a lot with purpose and meaning to life, And mom macaroni. And then I called the call for this company, and this company, it's a very complex story. I think we have to go back into a very young, very young ink. Very young, very good looking. Thank you for saying so. I went to the apartment. When I went to the apartment, I was getting jobs. And it's funny because I was lacking confidence a lot, self-confidence a lot, which made me shy. I wanted to try to talk to people. I was trying to ask people for stuff. When I needed a job, it was a nightmare. I'm eating because we didn't have time to eat yet. It was a busy day. So, I had a couple of jobs. Turned out they're not super good. I end up in an agency, temporary agency. And the temporary agency, a lot of people are talking shit about agency company. My personal experience is good, so I'm not. I'm happy about my experience. Was it always perfect? No. Was it always the best? No. Was it a horrible, horrible thing? No. It was nice. So, if you went to a couple company, right? First company is really nice, really really nice. But it's too far. I swear to God, I would. This is a true story. I would have to do an hour and 10 minutes from my home to the metro station, and then we would be picked up by someone, and we would have to do another 20 minutes, 40 minutes by car. It was nuts. I was like, okay, but this is too far for me. The second one, I don't remember what he sent me because, guys, that was more than 10 years ago. And the third one is where they're sending. I'm possibly working now. My company was 20 minutes away. Walking. That's insane. That is insane. 20 minutes walking. It was close by. It was a really good salary. And even then, this was the company I made the most cash at. I made the most cash at. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Ain't. Didn't you make a lot at your last company? I made more, of course, but I was hired. As a agency company, this is the place I made the most money at. And not only that, is they had a lot of overtime. They also have 3 shifts, so morning, afternoon, and graveyard. And they made me work in night shift and morning shift. I prefer night shift. They would hire a lot of. It was just a nice company. It was just super nice. It was this place as a professional experience was extremely fulfilling. Extremely fulfilling because I was and I'm not trying to be a dick, but I used to work at IG. I used to work at AEW, right, which are great companies, and I love it. But did I see myself doing long term? No. It was just like a job to pay the bills. When I went to the agency, they would send me to workshop. My father worked in a workshop. My mom, she didn't, but my dad did. So I was like, okay, well, this could be a long term thing, right? So I go in with that mentality, and I'm like, for the first time in my life, I'm like, okay, well, this could be long term. I was gonna say the name of the company. This company is the first place that I felt value as a employee, and there was 2 things that really made me feel valued, and that was crazy. First of all, it was a company that I saw myself working long term. Like, okay, well, this would be cool. Second of all, it is the first company where I stayed for a while. I stayed for like a year, and then I made a mistake, which cost me the job, which we're gonna talk about. We are gonna talk about, and it's a mistake that's very human, but you know. So I go in, and I'm going in, and I'm going in with a group of people, and now, little by little, I'm seeing those people leave. Then I start asking around, hey, where does this guy go? Where does this other guy went, right? And they tell me they got fired. So they were firing employees. And they were firing employees from agency, which was I. And I didn't get fired. I'm like, holy shit. First of all. Second of all, they're like, hey, we need you under the shift. So I'm like, okay, well, they're not firing me. They're transferring me because they see value in me. It was also some of the first, I'm gonna say a word that should not exist, positive injustice at work, in the sense of I had bosses calling me by my name, and actually there was this guy Ali, and he would ask me what I was doing. He would, my name. I would make joke, he would laugh, and it's so fucking funny because this is bad though. This is bad. We were 2 people, and I was making a joke, and we were talking, and he started laughing. He said, "That's a good one." I said, "Oh, thank you." And the other guy said, "Yeah, it's a good one." I said, and he said, "Who asked you?" I think, okay, whoa. So yeah, so it was one of the first companies I saw myself long term. Now, I have to be honest, 21, 22 years old, because this is where I worked. I worked there. Oh, why did I get fired? I start asking about when am I gonna get hired. I start asking when I'm gonna get hired, which you can't do. You can't do it. It feels like you're complaining, you know. So, 21 years old, 22 years old, Inc. was very, very different than I am right now. Very insecure, very shy about the world. Not shy in the sense of I can't talk to people, but shy in the sense of, well, very reserved too. Yeah, we're very reserved. Missing parties because I got invited because I was shy with other people. You know, some weird stuff. So when I lost that job, it was the first job. I was like, holy shit, I lost it. You know, um, it was a good job, but it was tougher. It was also the first job where I had people that I didn't really like working with, some assholes, and it was just about pushing through. Just talking about asshole. This morning I got a call. This is insane. This is insanity. I got a call at like she called Isa. I got a caller ID and I said, "Oh, I recognize your voice," which is not true. Because she called me last week, and she got a call, and then I got a call from another number that I didn't recognize, and I answered. Is the bully, the bully that I used to work with, and this time I was in a good mood. I talked to him. It was nice. It was nice. I'm not mad at him anymore, but still. So yeah, so this company taught me a lot. It taught me a lot, and I was a bit more desperate. I think it's the word. I was desperate. It's a perfect sentence actually, and now I'm desperate again. And as a desperate person, I will be working possibly at a desperate place. It's not a bad company, but it's not healthy. You know what's like? You know the craziest thing? They just call me to say we'll do a training what the company offers. So yeah, so it could be a long term thing, and it's nuts. It's nuts. BCT, which is the company that I was working for, is the first company that I worked at since this other company, and out of every single place that I did with the agency. By the way, I did a while. I did 4 years at agency. She came knocking at my door today to say, "Hey, you're talking too much." Yeah. So, that being said, I only had two companies that I saw myself long term, and if we're being transparent, I feel bad about this. See, this is my fault, but not my fault. With agency, I worked there for a long time, and it was constantly like, "Hey, we like you working with us, but we don't like you working enough. We like you working for us, but we don't like you working for us enough to hire you." So it's constantly mentality of I'm not gonna get hired, right? And I was gonna say the name again. This company that I'm possibly gonna work um, is the first company that was like, okay, well, I really want to get hired, and it's funny because it's toxic. It's really toxic. And my father was like, "Don't work there. Don't work there. Don't work there." And I'm like, "That I like it," you know. Um, and then PCT was a company that I would have loved to be hired at, but there was very little hope. So when I got hired, it's kind of crazy. The boss, he called me in his office and he was like, "Hey, I want to hire you," and jaw dropped. And I didn't even realize that I was being offered a job. I didn't even want the job. I was happy working there regardless, right? Now I did a lot of application. My last application that I did because it was last resort was this company, and they called me, right? I'm a bit more desperate, but I'm a bit more. I have a little bit more standards when it comes to work. I have a little bit more standards. I don't want to kill me with toxic fumes. What they're doing is they have the huge piece of metal, and they'll dip it in acid, and they're not rusting, which is good. And that's the whole thing. but it's very toxic. There's a lot of fumes. In the summer, it's not too bad because they open the garage door. In the winter, it's constant. So when they call me Fridays, I was like, do I really want to work there? And I talked to my parents. And my parents were, and this is unbelievable, but my parents are constantly asking me, hey, when are you working? When are you finding a job? And then I call them and say, hey, I got an interview. Don't go there. Don't work there. But I mentioned this before, there's two edge. If I'm working there short term, what is the description of short term? Is it 2-3 years? I don't know. I think there's a period of time where I'm gonna move. And I'm gonna be like, yo, this is permanent damage. It's like, and I know I'm not saying smoke cigarettes, but I'm gonna saying that in 10 years, but there is a amount of cigarettes I can smoke that is gonna be harmless to you. For example, weed. When you smoke weed, there's something in the weed that makes you high. And if you smoke, I think it's once every 3-4 days, you're good. It's not gonna affect you long term. If you smoke every day though, it's gonna affect you. So short term, but it would be like a really good job. They have opportunities, they have insurance, they have overtime. If I'm being completely honest, the ultimate goal is to see how it goes. If I like it there and I'm willing to accept the negative and the positive, of course, I'll work there long term. And if I'm not, I'll be working there for as long as I need to get as much money with overtime and working until I get a nice little nest. I'll get a nice little nest and then I'll quit. Make content, and then if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's pretty much it. So, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace. Wish me luck. It's not because I'm asking you guys to wish me luck, but I don't even know if I want to work there. Most of the places I applied to were wants versus needs. I want to work there versus the need of I need to work. And this is a place that I applied with the mentality of I need to work. And that's it. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.